changes, it would become an alternative to leather. Nevertheless, in the early stages of the invention, she struggled to convince others of the idea. Carmen Hinojosa had a plan. A lacquer-like coating could give the felt material the necessary properties to comply with market requirements and, at the same time, give the end product its color. Initial tests were promising. The material was quite similar to real leather in terms of water resistance, robustness, and durability. But there was a fundamental problem. The coating initially consisted of 40% petroleum-based resins, something Hinojosa wanted to avoid at all costs for ecological reasons.
The first coating wasn't 100%, but I launched the product because if you don't launch the product, you don't test the market, you cannot go anywhere. I'm not just in a laboratory trying things. You know, I'm a maker. I want to put things out into the market.
After several years of development work, Hinojosa succeeds in reducing the proportion of petroleum-based resins to 5%, without the material losing its leather-like qualities. A big step forward in terms of sustainability. Equally important, there's no shortage of raw materials. According to Carmen Hinojosa, over 27 million tons of residual biomass is discarded every year from the pineapple harvest. That alone could cover the entire current annual leather production for shoes worldwide, without using up additional land and other resources, says Carmen Hinojosa. In 2011, Hinojosa applies for a patent for Piñatex, a key step on the way to the product's success. Nearly 3,000 brands in 80 countries already use Piñatex, many of them from the fashion world. But numerous other industries are beginning to discover the new material as well. Hinojosa's alternative leather, a combination of economic success and an ecologically and ethically sound product.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Grand Bahama Port Authority approving the local power company's rate adjustment increase. Also, the Minister for Grand Bahama shares why the government does not support this decision. And 2 of 3 wanted suspects now in custody. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Rolf-Arkeson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news this evening, electricity consumers on Grand Bahama can expect a 3.3% increase in rates in a couple of months. The Grand Bahama Port Authority, in its regulatory capacity with responsibility for the power sector on Grand Bahama, announced yesterday that they have completed the review of the power company's rate case application 2022 to 2024. According to a statement, the approval to the power company's revised application and reduced base rate increased to 3.3% was communicated on January 14th. Furthermore, the implementation of any increase has been deferred to April 1st, 2022 to ease the rollout impacts for customers. The Port Authority says that they take seriously its regulatory obligation to act in the best interest of customers, while understanding the need to balance having a healthy utility able to provide reliable, cost-effective, and efficient power to meet the needs of the island and future growth. Well, the Minister for Grand Bahama making it absolutely clear that the government does not support GB Power's rate increase, while the Grand Bahama Power Company admits that they were pushed hard by both the government and GBPA to find savings and lessen the impact to customers. An extension to the 45-day consultation process. The Grand Bahama Port Authority, in its regulatory capacity, has approved the Grand Bahama Power Company's rate case application for 2022 to 2024. It is a move that the government was strongly against, particularly after the Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, made it clear that the island of Grand Bahama could not afford another increase. In a newly released statement by the minister, it outlines how a cabinet committee was formed shortly after the filing of the rate adjustment in September 2021. A view to advocate for the residents and businesses on Grand Bahama at a time when the impact of Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19 is still evident. From the outset, the committee issued a strong response to the initial filing of the application and clearly stated that the Davis administration does not support any rate increase on any portion of the customer base on Grand Bahama Island. The statement goes on to say that since this time, the committee met with both GBPA and GBPC and emphatically reiterated the government's position that this is not the time for an increase in power rate, especially in light that residents and businesses are still trying to rebuild. We reached out to Moxie, who says that the government continues to call for compassionate leadership during a time when social consciousness should be an integral part of the restoration of the Grand Bahama community and economy.
You know, the Cabinet Subcommittee met with the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the Grand Bahama Power Company and actually played a key role in the decrease from the 6.3% that was proposed to the 3.3%. But we are not the regulators. The Grand Bahama Port Authority is the regulator as a result of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. We will, though, continue to fight for the people and continue to call for compassionate leadership as Grand Bahamians try to rebuild their lives.
Now, the government's committee is comprised of Ministers Obadiah Wilshcombe, Alfred Sayers, Michael Darville, Ryan Pinder, and Ginger Moxie, and they were successful in persuading GBPC to revise their proposal, which resulted in a decrease from 6.3% to 3.3%, almost 50%. Our news team also reaching out to the Grand Bahama Power Company on the approval. Chief Operating Officer Nikita Mulling says the rate review process was rigorous, adding that the utility was pushed hard by both the government and GBPA to find savings and lessen the impact to customers.
The rate review process was rigorous, and the utility was pushed hard by both the Port Authority and the government to find savings and lessen the impact to customers.
She also shares how the rate adjustment will impact consumers moving forward.
As an essential service, we recognize our responsibility to deliver safe, efficient, and cost-effective energy to our customers across Grand Bahama every day. A key goal in our proposed filing was to minimize to the extent possible the impact on vulnerable customers within our communities. We are pleased that about 1/5 of our customers will not experience a rate increase. For others, including residential, commercial, and industrial customers, the all-in increase will be less than 3%.
Shoshina Rolf-Arkeson. Now, the Minister for Grand Bahama also spoke with members of the media in the nation's capital regarding the new increase that is set to take effect on April 1st.
Leadership, because people continue to be hurting throughout the country, but on Grand Bahama Island in particular because of what we've gone through as a result of Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic and hurricanes before that. And so we continue to fight for the people and continue to express our strong stance against any type of increases.
And here is how she says residents are reacting to this news.
Residents are unhappy, you know. I'd say we are unhappy. But again, we are not the regulators. The government is not the regulator. The Grandmama Port Authority is the regulator based on the Hawksbill Creek Agreement that was signed back in 1955. And so, again, we are here for the people. We'll continue to fight for the people.
Meantime, the Coalition of Concerned Citizens has been at the forefront of the fight against the Grand Bahama Power Company. For years, they have been agitating for lower rates, and when word came of the power company's application for a rate increase, group members turned up the heat, calling on the powers that be to intervene. The leader of the group is expressing disappointment. He says Grand Bahama cannot take a hike in the cost of electricity. Here's Jamila Mizik with this report.
The approval comes after an extended deliberation process, and the 3.3% increase is expected to take effect in April of this year. This news not sitting well with the Coalition of Concerned Citizens, who have for years been advocating for lower electricity costs. President Pastor Eddie Victor says, as far as they're concerned, there was only one decision that could have been made.
And that decision was to vote no to no increase to electricity rates in Grand Bahama. Our government has made it very, very clear from the very beginning of the announcement of this rate application by the Grand Bahama Power Company that the government supports no increase of electricity anywhere on Grand Bahama. And so we believe that there was only one decision that could be made.
He says the Grand Bahama Port Authority has defied the government's clear position.
They've defied the policy of the Bahamas. And we always have to remember that the government is the people. And so you've defied the wishes of the people, especially those here in Grand Bahama, because you had overwhelming opposition from the residents, the business customers, the hotel and tourism sector, all oppose the rate increase. And it comes at a time when the economy is the worst it's ever been.
The power company initially requested a 6% increase, but approval was granted for 3.3% increase. Victor says it is clear that the power company is profit-driven.
We feel that any increase is too much. And it doesn't matter how much you delay it. You don't solve the problem. Grand Bahama and Abaco are still in recovery from the hurricane. And of course, that has been expanded because of the pandemic. So we're still recovering.
And Victor says the coalition believes there needs to be an independent regulator for Freeport, East and West Grand Bahama.
We're going to fight it. And along with our partners, a number of our partners feel the same way. We can't allow this injustice to continue in Grand Bahama. We need significant change in the way that that our economy has been going, and one of the ways that happens is to lower the cost of electricity.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Switching gears now, Fidelity Bank is rebranding. The financial center located on East Mall and Ponciana Drive has been around for over 40 years in Grand Bahama. Once known as British American Bank, Fidelity Bank has evolved as one of the major financial centers on the island. Financial center manager Carmel Parker Dean says the bank is also in the process of launching their merchant service department as part of their rebranding efforts.
The purpose of our rebranding is just to reintroduce ourselves to the community. So this is an initiative that we are doing bank-wide. We have chosen our color as our brand color, orange, and we've also adopted the fruit of orange just to signify how Fidelity is good for customers. We have just how vitamin C is good for you, just how oranges are good for you, Fidelity is also good for customers.
Now, Dean also giving an update on the Abaco branch that has been closed since Hurricane Dorian, and she says that is expected to reopen this year. Fidelity will also introduce their click and pay online payment that she believes will make transactions easier. As far as customers are concerned, Parker Dean says that the rebranding has been well received.
They love the coloring. They love the idea. Orange is a vibrant color. It's a color of health and wealth. And so we have adopted this color, and everyone is in love with our new look. Our ATM is different. It's wrapped with our orange, and you would see the slice on it. Our walls are orange. We have our new shirts, our masks, and so customers are loving it. They always knew that we were good for them, and so now with our rebranding, they are definitely excited like the staff are. We have the products that clients enjoy, and we love the fact that we are able to boast and be proud of the relationship and the beneficial products that we offer our clients. And so we've been here for a while, we've been doing it for a while, and so we're excited about reintroducing ourselves with our new brand color and our new brand initiatives.
Police have confirmed that 2 of the 3 wanted suspects are now in custody. Police officials say 35-year-old Kevin McPhee, who was wanted on the charge of assault with a deadly weapon, was arrested by officers of the Northeastern Division last evening. This morning, 22-year-old Jonathan Moore, a.k.a. Johnny, was arrested at his home on Grenfell Avenue by officers of the Northeastern Division. He was wanted for questioning on the charge of causing grievous harm. Meantime, the search continues for 30-year-old Lyndon McPhee of Tamarind Street. He is wanted by police on the charge of assault with a deadly weapon. He is 5 feet 10 inches tall, 160 pounds, dark brown complexion, and of slim build. Now, if you can help police locate Lyndon McPhee, you are asked to contact 352-1919, 350-3106, or the nearest police station. And 4 men charged before the court today in connection with that ring reportedly responsible for the theft of converters from all types of vehicles on Grand Bahama. The men all appearing before Magistrate LaQuay Lang on the charge of stealing. 21-year-old Akeem Montel of Bruce Avenue facing 9 counts of stealing. He pleaded not guilty and bail was granted in the amount of $1,500 on each count with 1 or 2 shorters. He was fitted with an ankle monitoring bracelet, in order to sign in at the Central Police Station every Monday before 6 p.m. Elima Miller, age 24, of Explorers Way, pleading not guilty to 6 counts of stealing. He was given cash bail just over $4,000 with 1 or 2 shorters. He will also be outfitted with an ankle monitoring device and must sign in at the police station every Monday before 6 p.m. 22-year-old Sidney Curry of Rutherford Circle pleading not guilty to 6 counts of stealing. He was given bail in the amount of $1,500 on each count with 1 or 2 shorters. He too will be outfitted with an ankle monitoring bracelet and must report to the Central Police Station every Monday morning before 6 p.m. The 4th suspect, 20-year-old Justin Galaz of Montrose Drive, pleading not guilty to stealing, and was granted bail in the amount of $1,500 on each count with 1 or 2 shorters. He is to sign into the Central Police Station every Monday before 6 p.m. All 4 men will return to court on April. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Come on down. Now. Come on down. Now.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new, fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
My purse, someone take my bag, someone take my bag. Call the police, someone took my bag. Someone took my bag with my point. I leave the car for 1 quick second and someone take my bag.
Crime prevention should be everyone's business. Therefore, we want to remind you not to leave your bags or valuables visibly seen on the seat of your vehicle unattended. This negligent practice will create an opportunity for a criminal to commit a crime. Please desist from such practices.
This message is brought to you by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, creating safer communities.
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Cat Islanders Association on Grand Bahama remembering the life and legacy of Sir Sidney Poitier. The retired actor, film director, activist, and ambassador became Hollywood's first black movie star and the first black male and Bahamian actor to win an Academy Award for Best Actor. Past president of the association, Rudolph Stubbs, and member Oscar Campbell reflected on his many contributions to the Bahamas, including his role in the fight for majority rule.
Sir Sidney Poitier was very instrumental in helping Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinland achieve that majority rule. And him and his friends got together and mobilized and got all the walkie-talkies that was needed to help the word to be passed around as to what the initiative was and what was needed to do.
You may remember that Sidney created 4 scholarships, 2 for children out of the Bight and 2 for children out of Allenstown High School. And these scholarships were issued every year to students to allow them to study in Nassau. In addition to that, Sidney also provided the funding for the first Family Island Marching Band.
Members Cabrina, Adderley, Barry, and Philip Ambrister shared fond memories of Sir Sidney.
My memories of Sir Sidney Poitier would have been at a function we held at the Princess Towers Hotel, a luncheon, and the entire association was there, and so I would have met him there.
I lived a stone throw away from the house that Sidney grew up in, which was out near the beach. I had to pass it to go to the sea, where we spend most of our spare time during the summer holidays.
Now, Sir Sidney Poitier passed away on January 6th at the age of 94. Former SACME program coordinator and Rotary Club member Dennis Knowles has passed away. Knowles has been an integral part of the SACME competition on Grand Bahama for a number of years, and he is known for putting service above self as a member of the Rotary Club. Tonight, Rotarians are saluting Knowles, whom they call a giant of a man. Jamila Mizik has this report.
Rotarians paying tribute to former SACME program coordinator and fellow Rotarian Dennis Knowles. Rotary Area Governor Billie Jean Ferguson says Knowles was special to Rotary, especially the Rotary Club of Lucaya, with his initiatives.
The SACME and the AIM program, and those programs allowed students to go off to college and to get a better education. One of his passion, or his many passions, with the mousetrap and the rocket competition, and he would organize that and find the sponsors to make sure that those programs went on. One of his other things he did was he found scholarship, and he partnered with Kettering University in Michigan, and they afforded Bahamians from the island of Grand Bahama, Nassau, and Abaco, and Andros the opportunity to attend those schools.
She says he was a mentor to her.
The thing that I've learned from Dennis is to ignite that passion every year. Find the thing that you love doing the most. And he was one of my mentors who taught me what it meant to make a commitment and keep it, especially in Rotary, especially with the young people. He taught me a lot about fundraising, and to me, he was a father figure. And I am going to miss him tremendously, his contribution and just his presence and the wealth of knowledge that he had in reference to Rotary and all things humanitarian.
Rotarian Christine van der Linde says she knew Knowles for many years and he was instrumental in her development as a Rotarian.
He was an enormous help and a great mentor, especially during my time when I was president. And also when I started the club with 3 other ladies, the Rotary Club of Grand Bahama, Dennis was instrumental in helping me behind the scenes, giving me sound advice on Rotary and the way forward. So we've come a long way together. And certainly, I will miss him greatly, without a doubt, like all of us in Rotary. But he's been a pillar of strength for all of us and a giant. I call him the quiet giant.
Rotary Club of Lucaya President-elect Inika Johnson says Knowles will be greatly missed.
Rotary's legacy, well, I can say for the Rotary Club of Lucaya and Dennis's legacy is that he's left his mark on earth. He was truly a gift to the club, the community at heart, and he genuinely cared about the youth, and he instituted programs that will continue even in his absence.
Now Rotarians will honor Knowles in a virtual memorial service. Shamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Finally news, the ladies of Pink and Green, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, celebrating its Founders Day this past Saturday. With 119 years of service, the first Black Greek sorority's local chapter, Pi Upsilon Omega, President Yvonne Pearson and Vice President Rashina Campbell shares how once again they are doing their part to uplift women in the community.
The members of Pi Upsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated are packing pretty period packages for members of our society.
Last year, during the month of June and July, this was one of our initiatives, and it took a long time, but we'd also like to thank all of those who would have contributed to this initiative. We got so many items, and so we're able to now give to the community as well as to the school children.
Pearson and Campbell also shares what is included in the package and why it is so important at this time.
Masks, sanitary napkins, hand sanitizers, affirmations for young ladies, and so much more.
It's important because, first of all, we are a service organization and we are sisterly. And so we want to share this, and these items are extremely expensive here in Grand Bahama. And so we are so pleased to be able to share this as one of our initiatives to start this year in this island.
Well done, ladies, and congrats on your 119 years of service. Your evening sports report is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. We have updates from a number of athletes from Grand Bahama, from high school sports to college sports, but let's start this one from the pro ranks. Shaquille Shaq Fritz is in his second year as a professional basketball player. The 6'8" forward is currently in Spain playing in one of the top-tier Spanish leagues. Now with the regular season coming to a close, the former St. George's Jaguar, who finished his collegiate career at the University of Pacific, gave us this update.
We're about to go into playoffs soon, finishing up the rest of the season between this month and next month. Then we got the playoffs. Hopefully we could get top 8 and then try to compete to go to lab gold. Right now, all the teams battling and trying to fit in for the top 8. So, this year is very, very competitive. Very, is different from the previous years because we got a lot of talented players coming from the G League and different places where they played, in high level places, and this year should be a a really good year for basketball in this division, but also, just in general, here in Spain. So,
sticking with hoops action, combo guard Adrian Martinborough at Evangel University in Missouri was named Heart of America Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Player of the Week. The Grand Bahamian native averaged 20 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists in 2 games last week, shooting 54% from the field, including 6 of 13 from three-point range. Evangel will be in action again January 19th when they travel to Parksville, Missouri for another Heart Conference game against Park University. And finally in sports, 12-year-old LaBria Sands continues to turn heads in the state of Florida in softball. Bria recently made the CF Stars national team as one of the top pitchers. Her team is working and preparing for the busy spring-summer season that begins at the end of the month. Her first game is scheduled to take place in Longwood, Florida, followed by 7 out-of-state tournaments. She's also expected to compete in the USSSA Elite Double-Double Tournament in Altamont Springs, Florida. That's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
You heard of a cool place called Shape Your Crepe? Well, they have the most yummiest crepes. They are so good. Check out the Kids Kingdom menu at Shape Your Crepe, located at number 9 West Mall Drive. Or call them at 82 Shape and you'll get a special surprise from Mr. Crepey. See you there. Bye.
Your number 1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Charles Davis, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We appreciate your support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shoshana Rowe-Parkinson. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the national report, COVID hospitalizations on the rise. Once virgin COVID communities again reinfected. Grand Bahama residents hit with a power bill increase. And the latest on school reopening. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report, starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC's Superfast Extreme Internet Bundle. Make Christmas sparkle. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. Thanks so much for joining us. The government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the United Arab Emirates to explore mutual economic and technical advancement. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis making that announcement today, adding that the establishment of a permanent mission in Dubai is also under consideration. Keishla Adderley has tonight's top story.
A Dubai debate was sparked in recent days with queries about the return on investment from the cultural exchange at Expo 2020. Defending against the perception by some of simply a good time, the trip was branded by the government as a worthwhile expense. And Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis today hammering home it was not all play and no work as he laid the foundation for long-term lucrative prospects for the Bahamas.
Today, a memorandum of understanding with the government of the government of UAE to set the pathway for discussions on a number of economic issues and technical assistance, and that was done today. And there is much that we can gain and learn from what I've seen since I was here.
Prime Minister Davis' visit marked the first official visit by a Bahamian Prime Minister to Dubai. But diplomatic courtesies date back further, as Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, back in 2014, began laying groundwork for a friendship between the two countries. Now, the government looks to take that friendship a big step further.
I think it went as far as where it was thought that a CARICOM mission would be set up here to be spearheaded by the Bahamas. And we also were able to move to get visa under Minister Mitchell's leadership. He was able to negotiate visa waiver between our countries, which is in place. There were other arrangements that were left in place, but they were not followed up by the previous administration. Those things we're just picking up now, and we'll continue to see how we could forge a more meaningful relationship for the Bahamas, and that would include the establishment of a permanent mission in this region.
The Prime Minister's time in Dubai also included talks with investors, including local airlines. Those talks focused on closing the gap between the Middle East and the Caribbean region.
We met with the chairman of the Emirates airline, who has serious interest in exploring how they can connect the Caribbean, Latin America, and do so to the Bahamas. And we intend to, hopefully before the Minister of Foreign Affairs leave, sign a memorandum of understanding to set the foundation on the way forward for those discussions.
There's been a lot of defense of the trip, and today the Prime Minister added his, explaining that the delegation's size was actually reduced.
Many Bahamians came here on their own, and many Bahamians are here just enjoying it because they want to promote the Bahamas as a patriot. And we did, in fact, cut the delegation down, but that's not the issue here. The issue here is that here's a venue, Expo 2020, where the Bahamians could introduce themselves to the world.
The Prime Minister's delegation is due back in the capital on Wednesday. Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, despite the court of public opinion continuing to weigh heavily in on the money spent to send a Bahamian delegation to participate in World Expo 2020 in Dubai, Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Alkitis, contends it was a worthwhile investment. The government invested an estimated $1 million. The private sector contributed $500,000, while the United Arab Emirates government spent an estimated $3.5 million on the Bahamas pavilion. Alkitis appealed to Bahamians to consider the exposure the Bahamas received.
We are a country that we depend on, as much as we would like to change it, we depend on investment coming in. We don't export a lot. For our foreign exchange, we depend on people coming and investing money here. Look at it not only as a trip to Dubai, one country. It's an expo, 190 countries. You're exposing the Bahamas to investment opportunities, to cultural exchange, to business opportunities, any number of things. And so these things have been done in the past with investment missions. For example, the Financial Services Board does it every year. They go around the world promoting the Bahamas, and this is just another element of that on a bigger scale. But yes, I think it's worth it.
On the health front, the country has marked yet another milestone in COVID-19, although it is likely one that is not desired. With cases rising steadily in the triple digits daily, so too are hospitalizations. Cleopatra Murphy has the details.
COVID-19 hospitalizations have hit a new peak, with 148 patients now being treated based on the latest health dashboard. That number is up from the previous peak of 125 in September 2021, when the Delta variant raged. Health officials are attributing this latest spike that pushes the active case count to 7,265 to the Omicron variant.
Omicron is putting a serious strain on our healthcare systems, not only the hospitals, even at our clinics. This is a challenge, and this is a challenge every country is facing, to keep healthcare services up and going, while at the same time providing essential services for those who have other medical conditions. We're working the best we can.
Based on trends, Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says most patients are hospitalized with other conditions and just happen to have COVID-19.
As far as the cases of COVID is concerned, we realize that those who are in hospital, they have to be moderately ill. And because they're moderately ill, we must be able to provide the care to ensure that they're able to recuperate and go from moderately ill to be able to be discharged from hospital.
With more patients in hospital, coupled with the challenge of healthcare workers being taken out of the system due to infections or exposure, Darville says the recent hire of 50 Cuban nurses is expected to help provide that needed care.
There's an orientation process, and that process should be completed this week. And once that's done, they would be deployed at the various institutions.
But Darville accepts that still will not be enough, and that's exactly why his ministry must be focused on building capacity within the healthcare system.
We brought in 50. There's another 40 students from the University of the Bahamas who just finished the exams. Hopefully we'll get them in the system as well. And then we will do a reassessment of where we are. And once that assessment is done, we will make steps to actually begin to fill those places. It's absolutely necessary to ensure that the healthcare services is improved upon, particularly with manpower resources.
Plans are still underway to use the University of the Bahamas' Grosvenor Close campus as an additional space for patients. Darville says that contract has been signed.
The South Beach Clinic was used to house moderately ill individuals who had COVID-19. That particular clinic has been put back into general practice, which was absolutely necessary. And the nursing school at Grosvenor's Court will be a substitute initially in phase 1 for that facility, and then it will be a ramped up facility to prepare us for what may come or what will remain.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
And now for a look at the local case count between the two-day period of January 16th and January 17th. Another 500 plus COVID infections were added to the countrywide count, 255 on Sunday, 271 a day later. A look at demographics puts a total of 397 of those cases on New Providence, 61 on Grand Bahama, 11 cases each on Exuma, Andros, and Acklands, 6 each on Abaco and Eleuthera, 4 on Inagua, Long Island, and Cat Island, and 3 on Bimini and Cat Key. That two-day period also confirming that some 27 people traveled within 14 days. This while hospitalizations inch closer to 150. Now, at last count, the Bahamas had 7,265 active cases. Monday also accounted for a total of 912 RT-PCR tests, 48 of which were repeats. Another one returned an inconclusive result. The Attorney General shedding more light on what new marijuana legislation might look like. As Keisha Adderley tells us, the discussion around the cabinet table is expected to come by March.
Attorney General Senator the Honorable Ryan Pinder says it's the government's hope to advance marijuana legislation to cabinet by the end of this quarter. Right now, they're reviewing Canadian and U.S. legislation for guidance on the parameters of an act to legalize the drug, but already the Attorney General is committed to a multi-layered licensing regime.
And we want to try to keep that production here. You know, we want to vertically integrate the business in the Bahamas. We don't just want to grow it and export it to somewhere else for them to produce it and create something out of it. We want to be able to do that. We want to be able to properly license, like I said, the growing, the production, the export of it. I think you also want to have a licensing regime for science and research.
As a fledgling industry, questions are also hovering over who will have access to it. We asked the Attorney General if it will be an exclusive club.
I don't support that. I think that if you're gonna approach the regime as an economic platform for Bahamians, then you're going to have to allow widespread applicants to seek a license. Now, not everybody's going to qualify for a license. Not everybody's going to be able to have the capital for a license. Not everybody's going to be able to have the expertise to put around to meet the requirements. But that's the same in banking. Not everybody can create a bank either. But if you can put forward an application for licensure that meets the qualifications, why shouldn't you be able to seek a license?
But even after a newly formed marijuana industry takes roots here, there are bilateral considerations. There may be a clear path to export marijuana into Canada, for instance, where it was legalized in October of 2018, but our closest neighbor, the U.S., still hasn't federally legalized marijuana.
What that means is that our importation into that country might be barred because they don't have a federal approval yet. Now, that could change based on their laws, but that's the state of play now, whereby when we look at Canada, they have a federal legalization of it. So that means you can import into Canada. You also have treaties that have a uniform recognition of what is a violation of the law and what is not a violation of the law. And treaties with the United States might be different than treaties with other countries. And so on the diplomatic level, we'll certainly have to engage those countries as we proceed towards legalizing the regime in order to not complicate or not throw a wrench into our diplomatic relations with other countries.
Making marijuana legal has already meant expunging the records of those convicted of possession, but new legislation will delve into changes to the penal code, which will clear the records of hundreds saddled with drug convictions.
But we're going to pass amendments to the penal code to just address the criminality of it. So the expunging is already occurring, but we want to make that a proper regime where we take away the criminal aspect of having small quantities, because otherwise you're just expunging records on a going forward basis, and that's really not what we want to do. We want to create a proper regime on that regard. We also have to take a look at certain nuances, such as using it as a sacrament. We know the Rastafarian religion uses it as a sacrament, and so we're looking at that too, because we want to be kind of fair and equitable to all in this regard.
In line with the recommendations of a marijuana commission, the recreational use of marijuana is not an immediate consideration. Industrial hemp and its potential in construction, however, is also a major impetus to get the industry going. Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, the lack of clarity surrounding finances budgeted for the Minutes Administration's National Food Distribution Task Force raising red flags for the current administration. This is Office of the Prime Minister Director of Communications Latre Ramming airs a series of concerns regarding initial audits into government spending during the months-long state of emergency. Ramming says given the significant amount of taxpayers' dollars diverted to the task force during the state of emergency, the availability of information, or a lack thereof, as it pertains to the program is quite concerning.
And I think we have to find whether or not there were any internal mechanisms to ensure that, insofar as the interaction with the internal government agencies and the food program organizers, that there were the appropriate systems in place to safeguard the process, to ensure transparency, to ensure accountability in the execution of the government policy. And right now, I think on the given what we've uncovered thus far, I think there are more questions than answers.
Well, now to another story making national headlines today. Come April, Grand Bahama Power Company customers will be hit with a 3.3% increase on their power bills following the Grand Bahama Port Authority approval of the much contested hike. The rate increase, something Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxey, says the government staunchly disapproved and still doesn't support. However, she believes the reduction in the initial increase proposed was due to the government's stance on the matter.
We did meet with the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the Grand Bahama Power Company to express our strong stance against any type of rate increase. We note in the press statement and in a letter that was sent yesterday that there was an increase, approved increase from but it was reduced from the 6.3% to the 3.3%, and we believe that this is based on our strong position. At the end of the day, we continue to call for compassionate leadership because people continue to be hurting throughout the country, but on Grand Bahama Island in particular because of what we've gone through as a result of Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic and hurricanes before that.
Minister Moxey is also well aware that Grand Bahamians are not pleased with this latest move.
Residents are unhappy, you know. I'd say we are unhappy. But again, we are not the regulators. The government is not the regulator. The Grand Bahama Port Authority is the regulator based on the Hawksbill Creek Agreement that was signed back in 1955. And so, again, we are here for the people. We'll continue to fight for the people.
Still to come, police crack down on carjacking and more than 50 motorists cited for traffic violations. We'll be back right after the break.
And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this one, sis.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Since eating at KFC, Trevor became the value hunter. Get a KFC fill-up with one-piece tender, juicy chicken, a hot buttery biscuit, golden brown fries, and a soda for only $5, including VAT, and save like an expert at KFC. WhatsApp hi to 557-3663 to start your order for pickup at your nearest KFC.
Throughout all of our family islands, a Family Guardian home service agent can meet all your insurance needs. We offer life, health, and property and casualty insurance policies to help protect you, your loved ones, and your assets. With offices in Abaco, Eleuthera, Exuma, and Grand Bahama, and agents throughout the islands of the Bahamas, a Family Island agent is always nearby. Family Guardian, at your service, at your door. For any inquiries, WhatsApp us at 357-9632.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our client. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health, we can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 for Freeport.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
A return to the classroom could come sooner than later for thousands of public school students. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. the Honorable Michael Darville, is hopeful, suggesting before the weekly cabinet meeting today that signs appear to be encouraging. This comes after the hybrid system's return, initially set for January 11th, was delayed by 2 weeks to give health officials time to assess rising COVID-19 infections. Cabinet is expected to continue discussions on the matter on Wednesday.
I remain optimistic. We're looking at the numbers and we're beginning to see some signs that we may be moving in the right direction. But with that being said, things can change. But I am of the view, like many people throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, that the time has come for us to be able to have some sort of face-to-face, whether it be a hybrid model or direct, for our kids, and I look forward to our kids getting back to school as soon as possible.
The minister reiterated that the government wants to be assured that several things are in place before in-person learning officially resumes.
We have to ensure that free testing is available because that'll be a part of the protocol if we happen to have a child what children who become positive, what are the strategy for testing. 2, we needed to make sure that our teachers are safe. 3, the Ministry of Education made sure that the schools are ready. And 4, I need to make sure that our hospital system remains open in the event that we do have kids who may be positive. And as you can see, we've brought in some additional nurses. We're ensuring that we provide sufficient bed space. And all of these things are necessary. It's a group of things that need to be in order for us to give the green light.
Well, truancy, a major concern for parents and teachers. In fact, education stakeholders warn parents and guardians that repeated absenteeism from school is actually against the law. Carla Palmer found out this week how the ongoing pandemic has worsened the problem.
Anslow Strawn has been on the job 32 years, having been elevated to the position of Chief School Attendance Officer with the Ministry of Education. His job on a daily basis? To seek out those students between the ages 5 to 16 years throughout the Bahamas not attending school and cause them to return.
Even before I came on this job, there was a problem. That's the reason why the school attendant unit exists.
Now the problem is exacerbated by the COVID pandemic.
Prior to COVID-19, we were averaging at least 2,000 students that presented problems with attendance. I think it's going to be a lot more challenging right now to get kids back to school, because if you've been disengaged for 2 years, you've already developed other habits, and now trying to re-engage them, back into getting up in the morning on time, sitting down at your computer or your laptop or your phone or whatever it is, that device you have, and staying there until 3 o'clock, I think is going to be very difficult.
2 weeks ago, education officials conducted a walkabout in the Freetown constituency in search of parents to query their children's absence from virtual school. Strawn was on that walk.
We do need the support of parents, and we're quite aware that in some instances the parents are not there. And so in this type of environment, you're expecting young people as young as 8, 9, and 10 to be responsible enough to stay in front of a device and do work. That is very challenging.
Strawn is hopeful of a turnaround and a positive outcome, similar to circumstances in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian.
The attendance in Grand Bahama in 2019 in particular was very good. It was one of the best. I think when people lose everything, all of their material possessions, and this is just my opinion, they realize that education is very important. You just cannot take away knowledge. Corona is not here to stay. And when we do open back up, you cannot go for an interview and said, I do not have a high school diploma or degree because of COVID-19.
With 9 COVID officers to work the entire Bahamas, Strawn says if there's ever a need to add to the number for positive cause and effect, it's now. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Well, another homicide on the books. This one, the end result of a shooting that unfolded shortly before 8 last evening in the area of Key West Street and Robinson Road. According to police, 2 men were shot about their bodies. They were taken to hospital in a private vehicle. One of the men died while the other man is listed in serious condition, and intense investigations underway. The same to be said in the case of another shooting off Carmichael Road. When officers arrived there, they found a man wounded. He too was taken to hospital, where his condition is listed as stable. Now, the backstory is that the victim was walking along Adderley Terrace when occupants of a small Japanese vehicle pulled up. One of the alleged assailants then fired at the victim, hitting him in the lower back. Meantime, Assistant Police Commissioner Kenwood Taylor shares details of their investigation into a spree of carjackings. Taylor claims Japanese cars seem to be the main target for robbers.
They're in pairs, like our acting commissioner would have said, and they are wearing all dark clothing, black mask. In all instances, firearms were utilized. And there's a very large market for Japanese parts. And so we are asking you, the members of the public, to refrain from purchasing parts that you are uncertain of.
Well, traffic.
The vehicle of choice that are taken, they're all Japanese vehicles, models manufactured by Nissan and Honda.
Well, traffic officers greeting motorists on John F. Kennedy Drive during their early morning commute. Desmond Saunders was there.
Corporal Patrick Kemp and his team of officers taking a no-tolerance approach this year as traffic police are already seeing an uptick in traffic violations for 2022. Incidents so far for the year?
Well, for the year, like I stated earlier, we've had over 100 accidents already for the year. And a lot of those accidents are because of persons who are not driving with attention, they're not driving with a due care and attention, and also exceeding the speed.
The operation today on JFK, a first in a series of operations targeting reckless motorists.
We want to encourage road users to make sure that their vehicles are roadworthy. Okay, and you'll find that, Mr. Sanders, in doing road checks such as this, we also have to deter any criminal activities from would-be criminals out there who also are choosing through the street, looking to see who they can make their next victims.
Excessive speed and seatbelt use, a major concern for traffic police. And they have deployed every tool, including this speedometer, to enforce the rules. Speeding carries a penalty of $100. The speed limit on our streets is 25 to 45 miles per hour.
The technology with what we have here is one that's number one. With this year, we can pick you up at a distance of 2,000, 1,500 feet plus. And we can also, when this picks you up at a speed of about 2,000 plus feet, you get a ticket that you see right here from the side of his belt that will actually record the speed and that we hand to persons. So persons will say, well, you know, officer, I was only doing 30 miles per hour. No, because the gun not only picks you up at the distance that you recorded at, but it also gives you a ticket.
Some 55 motorists were cited for various infractions ranging from excessive speed and expired a driver's license to seatbelt violations. And traffic police say they will be more visible over the next few months in a continuing effort to fight crime and promote safety on our streets. Here on John F. Kennedy Drive, Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
Well, the Court of Appeal reduces the sentence of Kendall Johnson, who was convicted and sentenced to 7 years behind bars in connection with the 2018 stealing matter. During the hearing, the court said it was satisfied the 7 years imposed by the magistrate could not be sustained in the circumstances, as Johnson was not charged as a common thief. The court also indicated that the magistrate's characterization of the then defendant as a common thief and the subsequent punishment were unsustainable. As a result, the court allowed Johnson's appeal against the sentence, saying it was satisfied that given his antecedents and regardless of Johnson's claims he would travel a straight and narrow path in the future, the appropriate sentence in this case, bearing in mind his guilty plea, is 5 years instead of 7.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
There's nothing as powerful as knowing where you belong. No more waiting. It's time to come home. Come home to friendly smiles. Come home to convenience. Come home to more interest on savings and lower fees. Come home to our bank and your bank. Come home to Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
Say goodbye to the clunky, old, outdated, tiresome way of buying insurance. Get covered in a click with First Online, a new online insurance portal from Bahamas First. It's the simple way to do insurance. Visit bahamasfirst.com to get an instant quote, pay premiums, and manage your claims anytime and from any device. First for our car and home insurance customers. It's another first from Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind. We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, you elevate, elevate.
It's a tradition for us here at BTC to reach out to the wrongfully homes for children right around this time of year to spread some holiday cheer. And this year was no exception.
So this season, the Business Intelligence Department, we just wanted to express our appreciation to the staff and administration of the wrongfully home. We looked at some of the missions of the wrongfully home, and the one that stuck out to us would have been they aim to ensure that the kids develop a strong sense of self-worth. And so that stood out to us, and we definitely wanted to contribute in this regard so the children can be sure to enjoy the holiday season, and we definitely wanted to support this particular mission that they had.
The kids have been doing great. You know, like everyone who's been struggling with the virtual, we're finally getting a hand on it, and we're expecting some great grades, man. Every little thing is appreciated, you know, and keep supporting us, man. We really appreciate it, man.
We hope that the spirit of giving lasts beyond the holiday season and that we all remember that a little goes a long way. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corval Pyfrom. Be well and be back here next. BTC Connection.
Elevate, we elevate.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis learned more about the Bahamas National Trust's 2022 agenda during a recent courtesy call. BNT President Jeff Andrews and Executive Director Eric Carey informed Prime Minister Davis about environmental matters like climate change and the advancement of marine protected areas throughout the country, developing a botanical coastal reserve in Harbour Island, and the creation of Seahorse National Park in North Eleuthera. The Prime Minister expressed support for finalizing leases to create 5 national parks in San Salvador, which BNT representatives acknowledge would have a positive impact on that island's economy. National Trust officials say they're in discussions with tourism officials on initiatives to revive the San Salvador diving industry, once described as the premier location for diving experiences in the Caribbean. Its history dates back to the late 1700s. Centuries later, efforts are in motion to revive one of the country's key monuments. Desmond Saunders explains.
Yeah, Fortified Castle is the most trafficked heritage site in the Bahamas. If you were to stay up here for 1 hour, you would see well over 100 tourists passing through here, as well as locals. It's one of the most important assets that we have.
Fortified Castle, one of the country's most popular historic heritage sites, is getting a much-needed facelift. The country's new director of the Antiquities, Monuments, and Museums Corporation, Dr. Christopher Curry, among key figures spearheading this effort.
What we really are interested in doing is looking at the gem of a 3-in-1 heritage site. We have 66 steps right here, and up on the fort we have Fort Finn Castle and the water tower. What we want to do is we want to restore the water tower. We're looking for a PPP or a government initiative to get that underway. And we're also looking at making the entire Bennett's Hill area pedestrian only so that we can get away from the dangerous, hazardous vehicular traffic.
The reconstruction of Fort Finn Castle includes the restoration of the 126th floor water tower, electrical repairs and fixtures, landscaping and cleaning, expected to cost millions. Work on the project began some 2 years ago, but halted due to COVID-19.
We've already started a huge public relations marketing campaign. We're starting to build out a website. We're working with the Ministry of Tourism, in fact, to make our website the best that it can possibly be. And then, of course, on top of all of that, we're looking for strategic partners. We believe in the PPP, and we have a number of different persons that we've approached, as well as, of course, working with the government, because in speaking to the Prime Minister last October when I was appointed to this position, he definitely mentioned the water tower as one of the things he wanted to see restored. So
officials hoping to return the magic to this ruined compound that has been in disrepair since 2002. Fort Fincastle was originally built in 1793 by Lord Dunmore to protect Nassau from pirates. This is one of many monuments to be revived, and stakeholders hopes this effort will go a long way at reviving the nation's tourism product and keeping our cultural heritage alive.
Well, the only Bahamian stories submitted to the Rotary E-Club of the Caribbean's recent Butterfly Storybook competition were among the 10 winners chosen from 63 entrants. Thanks to the Rotary Club of South Ocean, the winning stories of Zoe Jordan of the Lyford Key International School and Kingsway Academy's Taden Culmer will be published in the Butterfly Storybook 2021 edition. The unique collection of 10 short stories provide illustrations of good deeds and highlight Caribbean culture. The project's purpose is to improve literacy by providing a book that can be read by children in countries from around the world, coupled with giving new young authors an opportunity to publish their literary work. And for those of you, like journalists, writers, and authors who use words frequently, happy National Thesaurus Day. The celebration commemorates the birthday of Peter Marc Roget, the author of Roget's Thesaurus, who was born on this day in 1779. He first published his thesaurus in 1852. Now, according to nationaldaycalendar.com, it was more than a book of synonyms. It was a complete characterization and organization of each word by meaning. Thousands of people either use a physical thesaurus or go online to find words to improve their writing. It can actually be a writer's best friend as it expands vocabulary and creative writing skills. Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training officials, along with community stakeholders, participated in a community walkabout. Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe, said the collaboration of parents is critical.
The responsibility of parents do not cease from the time you bring these children into the world. They didn't ask to be here. So your obligation is to provide the best opportunity you can. If you don't have resources, you make use of the state-provided resources, and so the least that you can do is take advantage of the resources provided by the state. The state provides the tablets, the state provides the teaching, and you only need to take advantage of it. If your tablet goes bad, you bring it. You can't tell them it's gone bad because you may have sold it or some such thing. But if you bring it, it'll be replaced. If they have issues of connectivity, if the parents come and reach out there, she will address it to the Ministry of Education, to the MP, and we'll seek to address it, either by setting it up or addressing it one way or the other. But there should be no excuse for a parent who is having issues not making contact with the school, with the administration, and letting them know. The generation that came before us sacrificed to bring us here, and it behooves us to start being a generation of complainers. Get with it, access the opportunities that are available to you.
For Ed Talk, I'm Denise Pratt.
Want to stay in the know? Subscribe. Text 819-BMOE. That's 819-2663. Remember to like and subscribe to our social media platforms.
Look, I don't know who Sean they think I am, all right? I only win 2 BAISS championships. I deal with connectivity.
Alive. What do we got?
Well, we are 100% Bahamian owned, and we inspired all Bahamians to believe in best. And we delivered on revolutionizing telecommunications in the Bahamas. Not to mention, our network works in the good days and the bad.
Thank you. But I need you to go faster. Be better.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital Wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, Digital Wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Some 250 farmers from across the country on Monday participated in a virtual meeting with Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs Minister, the Honourable Clay Sweeting. Sweeting urged existing and aspiring farmers to partner with the government to reduce the country's annual import food bill of around $1.4 billion. Creating a website and social media platforms to link with farmers, a public relations campaign, enhancing the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute, or BAMSI, and incentivizing young people to enter the farming industry are several components to the government's objective. Challenges with packing houses, which have limited hours and days of operation and limited capacity for refrigeration, training, marketing, and security for farms which face constant burglaries, as well as raccoon and other rodent infestation, were some of the issues farmers raised. AML Foods distributed some $50,000 in food vouchers to its customers in New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, thanks to proceeds from its annual Feed 5,000 holiday initiative. An initial $20,000 launched the program, and $30,000 raised at registers across the company's portfolio of stores. Since launching the Feed 5,000 program back in 2016, AML Foods has raised and distributed more than $500,000 in food vouchers to charitable organizations, translating to more than 12,500 Christmas meals, feeding more than 50,000 Bahamians in need during the holiday season. Well, yes, Eleuthero's business community has been hit hard by the ongoing pandemic, some even losing their businesses, others using every resource to keep their heads above water. But according to that island's chamber president, Thomas Sands, what's crucial now is figuring out the way forward, and this particularly in the face of being economically challenged long before COVID-19.
We need to empower, and the Prime Minister speaks about empowering Bahamians, Bahamian businesses. We need that to happen in all locations throughout, I think, the Family Islands. I believe that we will see recovery, and there is resilience, there is the desire to live here, and we're seeing not only for those who have lived here, we're seeing Nasubians move to Eleuthero and say, I don't want to go back. I want to find something here. I want to find, I have developed a life here.
And while there's often talk about leveling the playing field, Sands reasons it's about what he terms the unleveling and in the opposite direction.
We need to be over-incentivized to invest in the country, invest in Family Islands, to participate in Family Islands, because I believe, and again, it's my prediction, that the recovery or the greatest chance of return in the short term, if you measure the return on investment, is likely to be in the Aberfours, in the Eleutheros, in the Exumas, in the Cat Islands and the southern Bahamas and those islands. And so we need to, as we say, think innovatively, but execute innovatively as well.
Fidelity Bank will open a new facility in Abaco by the end of this quarter. The original facility was demolished in 2019's Hurricane Dorian, and over the course of some 18 months, more than $1 million has been spent to construct a new branch. Fidelity senior executives are committed to re-establishing a presence in the country's third largest economy.
We are recruiting and training staff, so we are really excited to be back in Marsh Harbor and reaching out to the businesses in the communities around Marsh Harbor. We will have outreach in Exuma and in Eleuthera. We are going to show the Family Islands how banks treat, welcome, and provide services to people in the Family Island with all of our digital platforms.
For us, this is about us demonstrating that we are a part of the community, that we are a part of the economy, but most importantly, we are a part of you as individuals.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. Outside of our studios, we are under clear skies, temperature at 68 degrees, relative humidity 59%. We have northerly winds at 7 miles per hour, the barometric pressure at 1,020.4 millibars, that's 30.13 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 66 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Toll, Key, and Marsh Harbor, Abaco. The Berry Islands, 68. Allenstown, Bimini, also 68 degrees. 69 in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 70 degrees. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space at Andros, 68. 69 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. Artistown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key at 72. Georgetown, Exuma, 74. 75 in Ragged Island. Clarence, San Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, 77. Ackland, St. Matthew Town, Inagua, 77. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 78 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Pink Center. For all areas tonight, northwest to north winds, speeds around 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide that will take place at 8:15 this evening. Tomorrow in the northwestern islands, the winds become easterly at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet, high tide 8:37 in the morning, low tide 3:06 in the afternoon. Now for the central Bahamas, the winds are going to back a bit, becoming northeast at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights remaining at 2 to 4 feet. In the southeast Bahamas, caution flags are up, northeast to east winds at 12 to 18 knots, and the wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. Now on Thursday, in the northwestern parts of our country, the winds continue to slowly rotate clockwise, becoming east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide 9:14 in the morning on Thursday, low tide at 3:42 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, we have that zonal flow that's from the east at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So we'll continue to keep caution flags in place for the central and southeastern islands on Thursday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
She texts me back. She says she ready for some of that. I say, what you talking about? You know, she stopped the show.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Wait, that's you? Girl, don't be calling my name in public like that. What you saying?
Hey, radio, why you here?
Come to get my car license.
Yeah, but you don't have to be here.
No?
No, you could just go to My Gateway. My Gateway is a fast, easy, and secure way to access and pay all government services online.
So what you do?
I went to mygateway.gov.bs, registered with a government-issued ID, and bam, I was done. I scheduled an appointment, and in less than 20 minutes, I was straight.
Oh, shoot.
Best rate, no delays. Best Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, digital wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. Cause if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. If it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Owner of Optics Organics continues to grow her business as she adds to her line of authentically Bahamian teas.
We do seasonings, organic seasonings, 80 plus minerals and trace minerals that come out of the Bahamian salt pond. We also do teas, 12 different Bahamian teas from lignum vitae, which people don't realize they can drink, a nep leaf. We do soursop, we do calamine, we do a variety of teas. We have it in box, we have it in loose leaf, we have them in like office packaging.
Burrows says the health benefits provided by the teas is what keeps customers coming back.
But they don't realize that bay leaf is the thing that takes away your pain in your stomach. If you have abdominal cramps, bay leaf. If you want to lose weight, a bay leaf tea. So every single one of our leaves, we've done the scientific breakdown on, the study on the ganap leaf, coughs and colds. Like right now, I ship out at least 100 boxes of ganap tea all around the U.S. in a month because of the cold season.
Optics Organics is much more than just teas.
Then we have our scrubs, which is one of our staple lines, which is also made from the salt. It's combined with our oils, essential oils, coconut oils. It has fresh mint in it, has fresh hibiscus in it. So everything is made local and everything has, all of the different Bahamian Eleuthera items involved.
You can purchase any of the products at your nearest Solomon's Fresh Market.
From our seasonings, scrubs, teas, pepper sauces, they carry everything.
Keeping you in the know for Good to Grow, I'm Giorgio Bain.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is here. And just like the other available COVID-19 vaccines, it is safe and effective. Just one jab for now offers you protection against the serious risks of COVID-19, including lowering your risk of hospitalization and death. Get vaccinated to protect yourself and help reduce the spread of COVID-19. Make your appointment now at vax.gov.bs.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, frontal system now well to the south of the Bahamas, leaving behind an area of high pressure, which will maintain mostly sunny days and chilly nights. Forecast for the night calls for clear skies, a bit chilly with a low temperature of 54 degrees. And tomorrow, we're going to have mostly sunny and a bit pleasant, high temperature getting up to 77 degrees. Extended weather forecast, lots of sunshine right into Friday, and temperatures starting to warm up a tad, getting back up into the 80s on Thursday. And then come Saturday, we have some clouds move into the area, and that's due to a frontal system which will be moving this way, should get in here sometime on Sunday or early Monday morning. Nevertheless, those nighttime temperatures, they're going to remain in the 50s and getting back up into the 60s, so the nights will remain chilly for the next several days. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. And as we celebrate our 44th year of television broadcasting, it feels great to be your home. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Bahamas National Trust in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
For 60 years, we have been here, the voice of the environment. Here, speaking up and for